to hear Krishna Katha. And we have a very, very qualified, amazing, and wonderful devotee here. His name is Grace Rasikendra Prabhu, a very, very senior devotee practicing Krishna consciousness for decades. He's from Houston congregation. Just for the pleasure of devotees, I would like to introduce Prabhu briefly. Rasikendra Prabhu born to South Indian immigrants in Singapore and became exposed to Srila Prabhupada's books when he was about 12 years old, after his eldest sister purchased Bhagavad-Gita as it is and an entire set of Srimad Bhagavatam. And he came to Texas in December 1991 to pursue his graduate studies in engineering at the University of Texas at Arlington. Shortly after that, he met devotees from the Dallas ISKCON temple for the first time on the university campus. And he was very enthused and encouraged by the saintly association. And he slowly developed a friendship with them and started chanting and visiting the temple, Dallas temple, on a regular basis. And there he met his spiritual master, His Holiness Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj in 1992. Then he moved into Dallas devotee community around the temple in 1994 and received his first initiation Diksha in Dallas in January 1995 and received his Brahmanical Diksha initiation in Houston in May 1996. And Prabhu got married to a fantastic Vaishnavi, and I know Mataji very well, Paduduli Devidasi in Dallas on Govardhan Puja Day in November 1996. And their marriage was arranged and presided over by their spiritual master, His Holiness Tamal Krishna Maharaj. And they have a daughter, a beautiful daughter, Tamal Priya, very, very, she's a goddess. And after receiving his PhD in aerospace engineering in December 2004 from the University of Texas at Arlington, Prabhu was employed as a faculty there. Then he and his wife moved to Houston in March 2006. At present, he works as an engineer, entrepreneur, and also he is an investor. He resides with his family close to Houston Temple. He also manages Tamal Krishna Goswami Memorial Foundation, which continues the sacred legacy of Maharaj by printing and distributing his books. He leads fundraising initiatives for various ISKCON projects, actively participates in outreach programs and initiatives to spread Srila Prabhupada's teachings to the masses. So this is just a brief introduction. So we are truly blessed to have Prabhu's association today. With that, let us welcome our dear Rasikendra Prabhu by loudly chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra one time. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Over to you, Rasikendra Prabhu.
Thank you all very much for this undeserving introduction. But Vaishnava is always very kind. It is said that the quality of a Vaishnava takes some insignificant quality and makes it into a very big quality and overlook all my bad qualities. But without much ado, let's begin our discussion on Bhagavad-Gita. So today I thought I will speak on chapter 7, text 3. Manusyanam sahasresu kaschit yatati siddhaye yatati apisiddhanam kaschin mam veti tattvataha. So this is the 7th chapter. Probably most of you already know. Prabhupada quoted this verse quite often. And also the Bhagavad Gita is arranged in such a way, out of these 18 chapters, chapter 7 through 12, the 6 chapters in the middle, contains the most confidential knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita. So typically, when you want to when you have something secretive, you don't keep it. When somebody opens your door, house, let's say you don't have something very confidential right in front when somebody opens the door. You want to keep it in a way where it's not very easily accessible. Okay? Somewhere in between the front door and the back door, you want to hide the most confidential, guhyam it is called, or antarangam, something which is very intimate, something very confidential. So because Krishna is not, Krishna wants to see, before anybody can be given access to Krishna, first of all, it's very difficult to get access to Krishna. Okay? But if somebody is determined and sincere to access Krishna, Krishna wants to see how sincere they are, or how determined they are, how truthful they are, how genuine they are. So therefore, he hides information which give access to him in the middle of the Bhagavad-Gita. Okay? So, Srila Prabhupada gives a purport, a very nice purport. As usual, Prabhupada makes everything very clear. There are many translations of the Bhagavad-Gita, but Prabhupada has presented the Bhagavad-Gita in such a brilliant and profound way that it really brings the essence of the Bhagavad-Gita to us. It makes it very accessible. Okay, so it's a very interesting fact. People who claim to be scholars of the Bhagavad-Gita completely miss the point of the Bhagavad-Gita. So this is how secretive Krishna can be. Right? Krishna also says somewhere in the Bhagavad-Gita else that Arjuna, because you are my friend and you are not envious of me, I'm revealing this confidential knowledge to you. Krishna also says that. Okay, so just like if you have a friend, a true friend, friend means you naturally not envious. If you have a friend, means you cannot be a friend to somebody and you're envious of him. It doesn't go together, right? Friend means you will be a well-wisher of that person. Like Surit. Surit is one. Maitra is another name. Sakha is another name for friendship. So one who has got a beautiful heart, Surit, that's called a friend. Okay? Because you cannot be friendly with somebody who's envious of you. So somebody could pretend to be your friend, but if their heart doesn't wish you best, then they're not really your friend. Okay, superficially they're friends. So in this world, you'll see that there will be many people who claim to be friends of some people, but when the friendship is put to test, their true nature becomes revealed. Okay, people can be friends because of money. People can be friends because I can get some favor from them. People can be friends because I can exploit somebody. People can be friends because if I hang out with them, I will become famous. So like that, people become friends for all the wrong reason, and that is not really friendship. So now Krishna also says that Bhoktaram Jakya Tapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Suridam Sarvadehinam. So Krishna is the friend, the well-wisher of every living entity, not only humans. Surida Sarvadehinam. Any living entity who's embodied, Krishna is a friend. Okay, how is he a friend? People, we can't just say, ask how, okay, Krishna, but how is he a friend? Because Krishna accompanies the living entity everywhere he goes. Be it a dog, a human, a cat, elephant, a fish, an ant, a plant, Krishna becomes our well-wishing friend who always accompanies us wherever we go. Okay? And he's always looking out for us. And our friendship becomes rekindled when we turn our face to Krishna. It is given in the Upanishads, the example is given. There are two birds always going from tree to tree, but one bird is always tasting the bitter fruits, whereas the other bird is simply witnessing. Okay, so Krishna is always witnessing. The moment this bird realizes, hey, here, look, my friend has been going with me everywhere I go, and I'm going around trying to enjoy, but he's simply accompanying me. Let me find out who this real friend of mine is. So when that living entity turns his face to Krishna, that's when real auspiciousness starts in one's life. Okay, so out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection. Okay, manusyanam sahasreshu. So out of many thousands among men, sahasreshu means thousands. Kaschit yatati siddhaye. One may endeavor for perfection. So there are many, among many thousands of people, one out of this group may have a desire to attain perfection. In the process, they make an endeavor for perfection. Okay? Yatatam api siddhanam. Okay? Out of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. Kaschin mam veti tatvataha. Okay, so very important verse. So therefore, you don't see devotees in every nook and corner. You're in Austin, right? So let's say you go out to, of course, now it's the pandemic, but let's say you go to a grocery store. What are the chances you run into a devotee? You may spend 2 hours, or even if you go to the mall. Of course, now Satyasara Prabhu has developed a huge congregation. Maybe everywhere you go, you'll see devotees. Thanks to Satyasara Prabhu. But devotees are very rare in this world, for this very reason. Okay? If you see an average person, they've got no desire to find out what is perfection, let alone make, and they don't even know what is perfection. Okay? They don't have an interest in perfection. You can see in this day and age in America, in the world, who has a idea what perfection is, let alone aspire for perfection. Okay? So then out of these many thousands of people, one may endeavor perfection. Okay, so out of millions of people, maybe a handful may desire perfection and may endeavor perfection. And those, out of this, let us suppose some people have indeed achieved perfection. Okay, among them, even among them, hardly one knows me in truth. So Krishna says, those who are pure devotees, who have given up their lives completely, surrendered. Okay, like the gopis example. Okay, Lord Chaitanya says that the highest, the most pleasing form of worship is that which was exhibited by the gopis. Krishna's most attracted by the worship, by the service of the gopis. Ramyaka Chirupasana, Brajavadu Vabarkaina Kalpita. Okay, Brajavadus, the damsels of Braj, their love for Krishna, their service to Krishna is most attractive to Krishna. Okay? Ramya means most pleasing or most sublime. So Prabhupada says there are various grades of men, and out of many thousands, one may be sufficiently interested in transcendental realization to try to know what is the self, what is the body, and what is the absolute truth. Generally, mankind is simply engaged in the animal propensities, namely eating, sleeping, defending, and mating. And hardly anyone is interested in transcendental knowledge. The first 6 chapters of the Gita are meant for those who are interested in transcendental knowledge, in understanding the self, the super self, and the process of realization by Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, and discrimination of the self from matter. However, Krishna can be known only by persons who are in Krishna consciousness. Other transcendentalists may achieve impersonal Brahman realization, for this is easier than understanding Krishna. Krishna is the supreme person, but at the same time, he is beyond the knowledge of Brahman and Paramatma. The yogis and jnanis are confused in their attempts to understand Krishna, although the greatest of the impersonalists, Sripad Shankaracharya, has admitted in his Gita commentary that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. His followers do not accept Krishna as such, for it is very difficult to know Krishna, even though one has transcendental realization of impersonal Brahman. Okay? So I'll make some comments here before we go to the next part of the purport. Just like if you're living in the emperor's kingdom, okay, you perceive the emperor's influence by how his government runs the country. So indirectly, you perceive in a very how do I say, an indirect way, the influence of the king. You know that the king is very wonderful, it's very powerful. By his influence, everything is going on. So that is kind of like Brahman realization. Okay, you have not met the king. So the example is given like, the sun and its ray. Okay, or the example is given when you're approaching an island from very far in the ocean. From far, you see everything is green. The island is green. There's no variety from far. It's just everything is green. You cannot distinguish the trees, from the rocks, from other features in the island. So that's like Brahman realization. From very far, you perceive, oh, this is the island, or this is Brahman, this is God. As you get closer and closer, you start to see some variety, some details. So that's like the Paramatma realization, which is the yogis. Okay, like it is said that in the Brahma Samhita that the yogis, they meditate on Krishna just to get a glimpse of their toenails. Thousands of years of Krishna's, the effulgence coming out of Krishna's toenails, just to get a glimpse of that, the yogis. Okay. And when somebody becomes perfect in yoga, they see the Paramatma in their heart. Okay, the Paramatma is a form of Lord Vishnu, Kshiradakashai Vishnu. So he's seated in everybody's heart, he's seated in my heart, seated in your heart, in every living is the same Lord. So that's like where you know that the Lord is in my heart, you can see, but you haven't really have a very deep relationship. And then the ultimate realization is Bhagavan when you get into the island. And then you walk into the island, you see the trees, you see the birds, you see the fruits, you see the vines, you see the flowers in full detail. So that's like the Paramartha, that's like the Bhagavan realizing. Okay. So in Goloka Vrindavan, everybody has this very, very personal relationship with Krishna, where there's no awe and reverence. Okay. So Shankaracharya, even though he was the greatest propounder of the Advaitin philosophy, he himself has admitted there's no higher truth than Krishna. Okay, but his followers misguided because Shankaracharya propounded the Mayavad philosophy, but in his greatest understanding, he has declared Krishna to be the Param Satyam. There's no higher truth. But his followers become caught up in his deceptive teachings. Okay, that's the reason why he propounded that philosophy. We'll get into that later. So the purpose of human life is to reconnect, revive our relationship with Krishna. That's the purpose of human life. There's no other purpose in human life, actually. And the whole process of bhakti is meant for that purpose. All right? So Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the cause of all causes, the primeval Lord Govinda, Ishvara Parama Krishna, Satchidananda Vigraha, Anadi Radhi Govinda, Sarva Karana Karanam. It is very difficult for the non-devotees to know him. Although non-devotees declare that the path of bhakti or devotional service is very easy, they cannot practice it. Okay? Why can they practice it? Because Krishna makes this condition that that you have to be non-envious of me, and you have to be friendly with Krishna. Only then you can practice it. Okay? Because Krishna is seated in your heart, he knows you completely. What is your mentality? What is your impurity? What is your ulterior motive? All this is completely known to Krishna, more so than you know yourself. Okay? So therefore, Krishna doesn't give access to himself. Therefore, people who don't have the right disposition, they cannot practice devotional service. They can practice, they can start to, but if they continue to keep that mentality and are not willing to be changed, then they cannot make any progress. Because all of us come to Krishna consciousness due to many reasons. Some of us may have come, oh, I'm in distress, oh, I'm in some financial difficulty, oh, I'm want to know what's the purpose of my life. For various reasons we come to Krishna. Very, very rarely somebody comes to Krishna consciousness with the conviction that I want to surrender to the absolute truth, and I want to dedicate my life entirely to service of God. Very few, very exceptionally few. Anybody who comes that way, that means they already have prior devotional service from their previous life. Okay. If the path of bhakti is so easy as the non-devotee class and men proclaim, then why do they take up the difficult path? Yeah, Prabhupada is defeating them by their argument, right? If that's an easy path, why go and take a more difficult path? They say bhakti is too easy. I'm very intelligent to be taking to a path which is very easy. But in real intelligence means taking to a path which is easy. Why go through an arduous path with no guarantee for success? Isn't that? So Prabhupada defeats their own theory that if it is easy, why aren't they taking it up? Right? Actually, the path of bhakti is not easy, Prabhupada says. The so-called path a bhakti practiced by unauthorized persons without knowledge of bhakti may be easy, but when it's practiced factually according to the rules and regulations, the speculative scholars and philosophers fall away from the path. Srila Rupa Goswami writes in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.2.101, Suti Smriti Puranadi Pancharatra Vidhim Vina Aikantika Hare Bhakti Utpaya Yaiva Kalpate. Devotional service of the Lord that ignores the authorized Vedic scriptures like the Upanishads, Puranas, and the Narada Pancharatra is simply an unnecessary disturbance in society. Okay? So basically, which means that bhakti has to be practiced according to scriptural injunctions as found in the Shruti, in the Smriti, and the Puranas and the Pancharatriki. Okay? If you follow this process under the guidance of a spiritual master, then it is bhakti. Okay, sometimes people try to read the scriptures without the guidance of a spiritual master. So they may be doing things which are not ordained by the scriptures. Thinking is, this is what the scriptures are telling me to do, but actually that is not what the scriptures are telling me. Just like there's a statement in the Mahabharata which says, Tarka apratishta sutayo vibhinna. Okay? So you cannot come to any conclusion by tark. Tark means by argument, by debate, by dialogue. You cannot come to any conclusion. Shutayo Vibhinna, there's so many variegated literatures. Which one do you read to become a devotee? Still, you can. You may be a big scholar in all the various 6 schools of thought in Vedic philosophy. But still, you cannot come to a conclusion because every one of those schools of thought have their own conclusion. It's called the Sad Darshana. Tarka Pritishya Sutayo Vibhina Nasam Muni Matangna Bidna. So if you follow a certain Muni, he has his own opinion. So even then you can't come to any conclusion. Then it says Dharmasya Tattvam Nihitam Guhai. That the real essence of religion is very, very confidential. Mahajana Yenagata Sapantaha. So that how do you understand what is bhakti? You follow the Mahajanas who themselves have very flawlessly, very loyally has traversed this path of bhakti. You just follow them. That's the secret to understanding devotional service. Okay, because this business of yata mat tato pat, India is, there's a saying, whatever path you take, that will lead you to God. Okay, that is nonsense philosophy. Okay, all of you have experienced. Okay, if you want to come to Houston, you don't go from Austin, you don't go north to come to Houston, right? So there's a certain path you have to take to come to Houston. So similarly, there's a very well-defined path which has been traversed by so many great Mahajans. Okay, the Bhagavatam says 12 Mahajans, but there are many, many Mahajans. Those who are following those Mahajans are also Mahajans. Okay, no less of a Mahajans. Right? So it is not possible for the Brahman realized impersonalist or the Paramatma realized yogi to understand Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as the son of Mother Yashoda or the chariot of Arjuna. Even the great demigods are sometimes confused about Krishna. Muyanti yat surayaha. Mam tu veda na kaschanaha. No one knows me as I am. So even in the Brahma Samhita it is said, Vedeshu durlabam adurlabam atma bhakto. Okay, so even for the greatly learned person, they can understand Krishna, but for the very intimate devotee, Atma Bhakto Vedeshu Durlabam Adurlabam Atma Bhakto. So for the very intimate devotee of Krishna, Krishna becomes very easily accessible. Okay. And if one does know him, then Sa Mahatma Sudurlabaha. So another part of the Bhagavad-Gita, Krishna says, anybody who knows him, that kind of Mahatma is very durlabh, very, very rare. Such a great soul is very rare. Therefore, unless one practices devotional service to the Lord, one cannot know Krishna as he is, tatvataha. So we have to understand Krishna as he is, not according to our whims. So sometimes you see in some Hindi movies or some cinema movies, they portray Krishna in a certain way. That's not how you understand Krishna. You understand Krishna according to Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. That's the way to understand Krishna. Okay? So even though if one is a great scholar or philosopher, okay, one cannot know Krishna. Prabhupada says only the pure devotees can know something of the inconceivable transcendental qualities in Krishna. His being the cause of all causes, his omnipotence, his opulence, and his wealth, fame, strength, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation, because Krishna is benevolently inclined to his devotees. So we found this great example where in Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, such an unparalleled Vedic scholar, he couldn't understand Lord Chaitanya's activities. Or Prakashananda Saraswati, the leader of 10,000 disciples in Varanasi in Benares. These are like such monumental scholars, but they could not understand bhakti, right? Because Krishna is benevolently inclined to his devotees. He is the last word in Brahman realization, and the devotees alone can realize him as he is. Therefore, it is said, Ataha si Krishna namadi na bhavet grayam indriye sevonmukhe hi jivado swayam eva spurati adaha. No one can understand Krishna as he is by the blunt material senses. Okay, so we want to see Krishna with our blunt senses. When we go to temple, we think we are seeing Krishna with our eyes. Okay, seeing Krishna, it's not by these blunt eyes. Okay, premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena santa sadaiva hridayeshu vilokayanti yat shama sundaram achintya guna swarupam govindam adi purusham tamaham. So your eyes have to be decorated with the ointment of love. Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena. And bhakti is that ointment which decorates your eye when you go to see Krishna. And with such eyes, then you can perceive Krishna. If not, you will see the form of Krishna as like a marble deity. So the greater your heart is steeped in bhakti, the more complete your vision of Krishna will be. Okay? No one can understand Krishna as is by the blunt material senses, but he reveals himself to the devotees, being pleased with them for their transcendental loving service unto him. So actually the eyes are not the medium for seeing Krishna. Let me give you an example. Like when you are sleeping, you are dreaming. Am I right? Your eyes are tight shut, right? But how can you see what's going on in your dream? Isn't that a valid question? So who is perceiving the dream? All right, the soul is perceiving the dream. And sometimes the dreams look more real than this world. Sometimes dreams can be such clarity. It is like happening right in front of you, but your eyes are tight shut. So just like Bilva Mangal Thakur, he was blind, but he could see Krishna sitting beside him. Okay, so these blunt senses are not what which sees Krishna, feels Krishna, touches Krishna. It's your transcendentally activated senses by the practice of devotional service, which gives you access to Krishna. So, therefore, bhakti cannot be analyzed by mundane logic. So you cannot take your the various ways of understanding something. There's pratyaksha, where you see everything and you come to conclusion. That is like modern science and material science. You want to see, you want to touch, you want to see it, you want to hear it. Then you come to, oh, this exists because I can. Then Anuman means you come to some conclusion by some reasoning. Okay, this happened, that happened. So therefore this. So that could also be defective. But the real way to understand Krishna is the process of Shabda, by transcendental sound of the scriptures, the sound of the sadhus, the words of the sadhus, the word of the spiritual master, and the holy name of Krishna. This Shabda Praman, it's called, or sometimes it's called Shabda Brahman. That's how we understand Krishna, by the process of Shabda. All right, so therefore, sound vibration is very important in Vedic tradition. One can understand Krishna by the mediums of the ears, by hearing. Even though initially may not be very attractive, but if we stick to the rigor of continuously hearing about Krishna from authorized sources, okay? If you go to unauthorized sources, when they speak about Krishna, it will give you a very different understanding of Krishna. So therefore, Lord Chaitanya forbade people from his followers from hearing any kind of commentary about Krishna from non-devotees. Okay, sometimes they could be very musical. They could be, memory could be very excellent. They could recite the whole Bhagavatam, but they may not understand Krishna. Okay, even Shankaracharya says, Samprapte sannihite kale nahi rakshati dukran karani. So at the fag end of your life, all your great oratorical skills and your grammatical compositions, they are not going to save you. Only Lord Govinda can help you at the fag end of your life. Only a service to Govinda can help you. Okay? So I think I've spoken enough. Any questions, any comments, please? I'm at your mercy. Satyasara Prabhu.
Yes, wonderful class. Devotees, please ask any questions you may have.
How many families in the class?
Almost 30, 31, Prabhu.
Okay, good. All of them are in Austin, mostly?
Yes, Prabhu. So, Prabhu, there is a question from Harinamamrita Prabhu and Sugopi Mataji.
Harinama Prabhu, can you put yourself on video? Is it something you can?
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji. Very, very nice, excellent class, and you explained so well about Krishna being the Supreme Personality of Godhead. My question is, how would you distinguish the Vaikuntha from Goloka and the Lord of Vaikuntha Narayana from Goloka, Lord Krishna, and then just few distinctions, and then how do you establish Lord Krishna as the Supreme?
Okay. Srila Rupa Goswami has very extensively dealt with this subject matter. Srila Jiva Goswami has also very extensively explained this subject matter. So, Lord Narayan, the Jiva has 50 qualities. All of us, we have 50 qualities. And typically not to the complete degree. When we say 50 qualities, some, we may be merciful, but not as merciful as Krishna. Or some of us may be more merciful, some of them less merciful. Okay? Then Lord Shiva has got 55 qualities. And Lord Shiva is actually Lord Vishnu voluntarily coming into contact with the material energy. That means touching the material energy. And in that process, he becomes Lord Shiva. Okay? So Lord Shiva is not Vishnu Tattva, and neither is he a Jiva Tattva. He is in his own category, 55 qualities. So the Jivas, even Lord Brahma is a Jiva. Okay? Then comes Lord Narayan, who has got 60 qualities to the complete degree. Okay? Then Krishna has 4 more qualities than Lord Narayan. That he is, beauty is unparalleled. And his activities, his pastimes are unparalleled. Most sweetest. His beauty is most sweetest. And when he plays on the flute, captivates the entire universe. So like that, he's got Venu Madhurya, Rupa Madhurya, Leela Madhurya. And what is the other one? Surrounded by the most super excellent devotees. Okay? So if you look at it very, very carefully, you don't see any point in Vaikuntha where there's somebody like Mother Yashoda. In Vaikuntha, there's only come up to a point where they see Lord Vishnu as their master. Lakshmi, to some degree, sees Lord Narayan as her husband, and at the same time, this understanding that he is my master. But in Vrindavan, such veneration is completely absent. Even those people who are in the servitude mood in Vrindavan, they don't have this veneration for Krishna. Okay, like there's some servants, and then there's the sakhas who don't know that Krishna is God. They think Krishna is my dearmost friend who comes to herd the cows with me, who takes lunch with me, who plays tug of war with me, and who carries me on his back. So this is the understanding of the cowherd boys. Okay, Krishna's Yoga Maya covers them. Okay, and Krishna himself get covered by his own Yoga Maya. Because Krishna is not pretending in this Leela. As long as Krishna is concerned that he is the son of Mother Yashoda, he is the son of Nanda Maharaj, and these are his cows, and his business, his job is to take care of the cows. Okay, then you got the parental rasa. In Vaikuntha, there's no such thing as a parental rasa. Everybody sees Lord Narayan. But in Vrindavan, this parental rasa is there, where they see Krishna as their child. Not only as Mother Yashoda, some other gopis, elder gopis, they see Krishna as their child, as their dearmost. Okay, where Krishna serves them. There are times when Krishna carries Nanda Maharaj's sandals on his head. Or when Mother Yashoda, during the Damodar Leela, she takes the stick and shows Krishna. Krishna gets frightened and runs away. Krishna is not pretending in any of this. He's actually afraid. And finally, his relationship with the gopis, where they see Krishna as their beloved and Krishna sees them as his beloved, which culminates in Radharani's love for Krishna. So these are absent, and these rasas, they brings out the greatest sweetness, the greatest brilliance in Krishna. Okay, but at the same time, we should never see that the Vaikuntha is in any way, the rasa is inferior, because it's the same Krishna, but he is in a certain mood in Vaikuntha. So therefore, as devotees who are attracted to Krishna, one should never see the Vaikuntha Vasis, that is, they feel complete in their relation. Just like Hanuman, you go and tell Hanuman to take some other relationship with Lord Ram, he'll get very upset with you. He said, no, what do you mean? He's my master and I'm his servant. I don't give much thought to what the queens may think of him, but as long as I'm concerned, he's my master and I'm his servant. So so it's just like the example is given, different cups. Some cups are small, some cups are large, but when the cup is full, the cup is full. The cup feels it's full, right? It feels complete like that. Okay? Hope that was helpful.
Yeah, thank you so much. But one small following question, as you are giving the example of Hanuman with Lord Rama, that he feels he's the servitor and he should serve him no matter what the queens feel or all. So similarly, is that not a ras in the Dasya Bhava in Vaikuntha?
No, that's the Dasya Bhava.
But that is also Vaikuntha, no? Ayodhya is one of
Ayodhya
the
is
in
actually even higher than Vaikuntha. Okay, according to how it's arranged.
Okay.
So, but Lord Ramachandra, relationship with Hanuman, he will also never want a different relationship with Hanuman, because just like Krishna in Vrindavan, some servitors are there, and Krishna is completely happy with that. Krishna is completely happy with the cows. What's their relationship with him? And if you go and tell a cow to change a relationship with Krishna, it's just like very incompatible. It's just like you go and tell a mother who's got the parental relationship towards the son to go and say, you know what, somebody else's relationship with your son is greater than yours. You will not be pleasing to that mother or the father. You see what I mean? If you had children, you understand that. You have children?
No.
You have seen your friends having children. It's a very unique relationship. You cannot take away that relationship.
Yeah.
Okay, so Lakshmi has a certain relationship with Lord Narayan. In fact, Krishna is so attractive. In fact, Lakshmi is an expansion of Radharani. So when she's massaging Lord Narayan's feet, sometimes she thinks about Krishna's pastime and she becomes attracted to that. So that's how attractive Krishna is. In fact, Krishna once saw his own reflection on the shiny marble in one of his palaces. He said, who is this person so attractive? Krishna became attracted to himself. Okay, so Krishna is called Tribhuvana Sundar. He's attracted to the entire creation. Now, if we are not attracted to Krishna, then we should understand that we are in a diseased condition of life. Okay?
Yeah.
So that means we are in such a diseased condition, we cannot appreciate or perceive the beauty of Krishna. All right? Thank you. Hopefully I've understood. I tried my
No,
best.
thank you so much. And I guess like Krishna reciprocates with everyone in a particular relationship according to the devotee's desires.
Yes, and one should never see one as inferior, one as superior. Krishna, just like when Lord Ramachandra in the Setubandha pastime, when everybody was making the building the bridge, you know, this little squirrel. Some people say it's a squirrel, some people say it's a spider. Was trying to help build the bridge by picking up some small lumps of sand. And Hanuman say, why you in my way? Get out of my way. You know, because Hanuman was carrying a big boulder. And Lord Ramachandra corrected Hanuman. He say, that's your capacity to serve me in this way. And the squirrel's capacity is, in its capacity, it's serving me to its fullest. So I see these services as equally glorious. Okay? So a devotee should always remain humble and do his best to serve Krishna. That's what Krishna attracts Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. What a
Hare
wonderful
Krishna.
answer, a very good explanation.
It also means
Hare
that
Krishna.
how much we are, to what degree we are surrendered to Krishna also.
Yes. So the level of your surrender is also how much Krishna becomes attracted to you. Now, this word surrender, from the English dictionary, it looks like you have given up everything and you have the most disadvantaged position, because in a war you surrender and then you're completely at the disposal of the enemy. But in this case, when you completely surrender, you are completely under the charge of Krishna. It's a very different concept of surrender. Okay, so we use the word surrender, saranagati or prapanna. These things don't have a good analog in the English language. Okay, so for want of a better word, we use the word surrender. But the surrender in the English language has a negative connotation. But when you say, Krishna, I am yours, please accept me. Your will is mine. And I have no other separate will than your will. Now that becomes total submission to Krishna. But that gives you real freedom. Because when you become completely surrendered, you enter into Krishna's intimate family, and there you have complete freedom to deal with Krishna in the way and Krishna deals with you. You are not bound by all kind of inconveniences in this world. Even in this world, if you fully surrender to Krishna, even though you may be in this body, the body stops being an hindrance in your service to Krishna. Often our body becomes a hindrance. When we get tired or we have to sleep, we have to, take care of your body, we get sick. So therefore, those who are transcended the body, who have surrendered Krishna, the body, even though it's there, but the pushings of the body are no more felt by that devotee, or no more given much attention by that person, okay, who can transcend those things.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Satyarupa Prabhu, your question, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Nice
Hare
class.
Krishna.
Yeah, Prabhu is one of the class I heard that like whenever we are going to Vaikunta, then we cannot go directly from Vaikunta to Goloka. Again, we need to come back to Bhuloka, and then we need to go Goloka. So can you throw some light?
Yeah, it is said that on our journey, there will be a lot of things which are very attractive. Let's say if you aspire to go to Goloka, then as you go along, if you get attracted, even by Swarga, then you have to. Then if you get attracted, wow, Vaikuntha. Krishna's dedication to Krishna is very exclusive. Okay, the Brihad Bhagavatamrita states that. But before you go to Goloka, it is said that you have to take birth in this Bhauma Vrindavan and serve in that capacity. And then Bhauma Vrindavan means one who's absorbed of thoughts in Vrindavan, need not physically be living in Vrindavan. Okay, give you example like some of Lord Chaitanya's associates never visited Vrindavan. Do you all know that? Like Swarup Damodar Goswami, he never visited Vrindavan, but he was the epitome of bhakti, or Ramananda Rai. So like this, our heart becomes Vrindavan. Like Prabhupada's heart was Vrindavan. So wherever he went, he created Vrindavan there. Just like if you go to any temple which is very strictly, very meticulously following Prabhupada's teachings and Prabhupada's instructions, you will find that place like it's non-different than Vrindavan. Isn't that a fact? So therefore, we have to create Vrindavan in our heart. And then in this world, even though we are in this world, we have to make our heart like a dham. And then we can go back to Krishna. All right?
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances.
Hare Krishna, please accept mine.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Prabhu, you mentioned so we cannot, why we cannot practice Krishna consciousness, because Krishna wants us to be non-envious, right? How do we become non-envious?
You see, envy is a very deep-seated thing. First of all, enviousness, we have to realize our own envy for Krishna. Sometimes it's not very easy. Okay, when we perform devotional service, Krishna gives us the intelligence to realize our own envy, if we are sincere and honest. Okay, so therefore, simplicity is very important in bhakti. When you approach Krishna, you have to approach Krishna and reveal all your shortcomings to Krishna. Even though Krishna knows everything about your shortcoming, you have to, within inside you, you have to look at all your shortcomings very honestly and approach Krishna and submit to Krishna. Krishna, this is all the defects I have. And somehow or other, I've come to this material world. It is said that I came to this world because I was envious of you. So here I am in an envious position, even though I may not be able to see my envy for you. Please help me get rid of this envy. You can pray to Krishna like that. And another very effective way is to associate with pure devotees who've given their lives to Krishna, who are serving Krishna with their heart and soul, who has got no duplicity in their heart, who are very simple at heart. Simple at heart doesn't mean you get cheated by outside people. Simplicity is necessary when you approach Krishna. Okay? Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that Saralata Sahisnuta, these two things are the first two qualities of a devotee which is necessary. That one has to be Sarala. One cannot have any hidden agenda when we go to Krishna. One cannot go to the spiritual master with some hidden agenda. One cannot go to the sadhu with some hidden agenda. So simplicity is very important. And simplicity means accepting things as they are, as your situation, and going to Krishna and be very straightforward. Even dealing with devotees, sometimes we may find somebody hides their true motive when they come to associate with devotees. They may come for some ulterior purpose. They may come to the temple and they may sing nice bhajans, and then they may get a following, and then after some time you find, oh, they did this, they did that, they cheated somebody, they behaved inappropriately with some people. So all these are all ulterior motives. When we come to Krishna, we have to be very conscious of our own shortcomings and work very hard to fix the shortcomings with the grace of the spiritual master, by following his instructions, by serving the Vaishnavas who are without envy. Okay, so the Bhagavatam is said to be for those who are nirmatsaro, okay, without envy. So if you have envy in your heart, you cannot understand the Bhagavatam. Okay?
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hopefully you are asking me, an envious person, to explain how to get rid of envy, how to recognize. So what can I say?
So, Prabhu,
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Any other questions, comments? Anybody have some things to add, please?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I have one question.
Yes.
So, in Goloka, we might be born as anybody, not just gopas or gopis, but even cows or even bees or even grass. So, how do we understand, Prabhu, if we are born as grass and a cow and comes and eats us? Do we, so, like, how do we even see that reciprocation, Prabhu? Grass might not have that much
The
reciprocation.
grass, they never lose their existence when they're eaten. They feel ecstasy when they're eaten by the cows, because the grass will always be grass. Okay, the grass will be there, always there. It will never be annihilated in Vrindavan. Everything is eternally existing. Okay, just like the water is said to be conscious, the water of the river Yamuna is said to be the ecstasy, is bhakti, is liquid bhakti. Okay, so the grass being trampled on, Uddhava prays like that I want to be the grass in Vrindavan so that the gopis can trample on me. Okay, so this is all very high subject matter. When we start thinking about these things, it can be bewildering because we don't have the sufficient, what can I say, access yet to these things. Okay, so it's better sometimes we use our material experiences in this world and we project it into our relationship with Krishna. Okay, so let's say because we see that if here in this world, if the cow eats the grass is gone, finished, right? And so we think, oh, it must be the same in Goloka. It's not like that. Okay, they are all completely spiritual. They are eternally existing. They never exhausted. Okay, that's how we should see it.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
See, one mistake we make, we take our material experiences in this world and try to project it onto Krishna. So therefore, we become very confused, especially the concept of time, because we see in this world something is a beginning, something is an end. So people ask this question, so Krishna must have a beginning, because we understand that in this world that we are caught in the cycle of time. So we think somehow Krishna must have had a beginning. And what existed before Krishna? We try to take our experiences in this world. But in the spiritual world, there's no concept of time. Even though the sun rises, the sun sets in the spiritual world, there's a sun, the moon is there, the different times are there. But it's a very different understanding of time there. And time never lessens somebody's lifespan. In this world, time lessens everybody. Every day gone, one day less to live for us. Okay? Not like that in the spiritual world. All right? You can hear me?
Yes, Prabhu.
Sorry, Prabhu, my thing was on mute. Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhu. Got a better
Krishna.
understanding now. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
So if there's no other questions, Satyasara Prabhu, we can end.
Yes, Prabhu. We will end, Prabhu. Brilliant class, and Umesh Prabhu is going to give a thank you note for you.
Oh, okay.
Umesh Prabhu, can you please unmute?
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
It was
Umesh
a
Tiwari,
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
how are you?
Good, Prabhu. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm all right. Looks like you dressed up very nicely for today's program.
Yes,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So we really thank you for taking time today, and also it was a pleasure to hear from you. You talked to us about your realization of Bhagavad-Gita, chapter 7, text 3. Some of the summary points that I took, I would just like to reiterate, and also some of the learnings that we can take from this class. You reiterated Prabhupada saying that path of bhakti is not easy, but if it is practiced according to rules, factually, and regulations, it can be achievable. You also cautioned us what Prabhupada has said, that devotional service of Lord that ignores scriptures, Puranas, and which is not done under the guidance of spiritual master may not lead you to reaching Krishna. That is why we see that in this world, even the most learned can only achieve the impersonal or Brahmin form of Krishna, but they cannot get personal to Krishna. And then you really realize the nectar that Prabhupada has shared us. You shared with us that the confidential knowledge that Krishna can only be known by persons who are Krishna conscious. Krishna's pure devotees have personal relationship with Krishna. And to his intimate devotees, Krishna becomes very easily accessible. This is also depicted by Krishna when he says to Arjuna that because you are my friend and you are not envious of me, I am revealing the confidential knowledge to you. Finally, I would like to conclude of what you told us about the purpose of human life. And I would say that's also one of the takeaways for me from today's class. You said purpose of human life is to reconnect and revive our relationship with Lord Krishna. However, Krishna hides the knowledge of getting access to him because he wants the devotees to make genuine efforts to reach him. Thanks to many Mahajans and Srila Prabhupada ji, that this hidden knowledge is made accessible to us through the process of bhakti. You talked about pure bhakti that can be practiced by doing unconditional service to the Lord under the blessings of spiritual master. And also you talked about the process of Shabda, which is by listening to the pastimes of Krishna and chanting the Mahamantra. It is this practice of bhakti that fills our eyes with love and helps us get access to Krishna and helps us realize him in one life or the other. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. It was a very good class, and thanks for enlightening us.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much.
All.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you, Umesh Prabhu, for nice summary. And Rasikendra Prabhu, it is a blessing to have you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, if, Prabhu, you can stay back, or if you have something else to do, please be understand.
Yes, I have to take another class shortly. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you all very much for having me. If I've committed any offenses or I've spoken something inappropriate, please forgive me. And I'm looking forward to attending these sessions.
Definitely.
When you all are when some other devotees are speaking, but depends how my Sunday, sometimes my Sunday gets very busy. So thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Devotees, we are going to make a quick announcement. Then we are going to sing Narsingharti. Then we'll conclude. Radha Damodar Prabhu, please, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna devotees. Thank you for joining, taking time on this long weekend and attending Prabhu's program. So we had one birthday in this week of Ishan, Arun Prabhu and Suganya Mataji's son. So let's chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra 3 times for the benefit of Ishan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we have a few more announcements. So the 2021 BBT calendar is still available. So please take this opportunity to get one copy of one or few copies. You can always give us a gift to your friends and families and friends. So if you have, if you need a BB calendar, please contact Satyarupa Prabhu. Also, we have another exciting program coming up soon. It's on January 31st. We have a very special Sunday feast class by His Holiness Hanuman Preshaka Swami Maharaj. So please make sure to join yourself, and also make sure that you invite your family and friends and take great advantage of the association with Maharaj. So let's start the new year in a very fantastic way. Please make sure to join. Then also we have the Ekadashi coming up. The next Ekadashi is on Sunday. Please fast from grains and beans on that day. That way we can make more spiritual progress in a faster way. Hare Krishna. That's all the announcements, Prabhu.
Thank you, Radha Prabhu, for the nice announcement. Let's sing Narsingharti. It looks like I have to sing Narsingharti today. So Namaste Narasimhaya, Namaste Narasimhaya, Praladadayine, Daladadayine, Hiranyakashipurvakshaha, Nyakashipurvakshaha, Silatankanakalaye, Silatankanakalaye, Ito Narasimha Parato Narasimho, Ito Narasimha Parato Narasimho, Yato Yami Tato Narasimha, Yato Yami Tato Narasimha, Bahi Narasimho, Hridaye Narasimho, Narasimho, Hridaye Narasimho, Narasimha Madim Saranam Prapate, Madim Saranam Prapate, Tava Kara Kamalavare Nakam Adbuddha Shingam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Bringa Keshavadita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare, Jaya Jagadisha Hare, Jaya Jagadisha Hare, Avakara Kamalavare Akam Adbuddha Shingam Dalita Yakashipu Tanu Bringam Keshavadita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Tava Kara Kamala Vare Nakam Adbhuta Shingam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Bringam Keshavadita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Tava Kara Kamala Vare Nakam Adbhuta Shingam Nita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Bringam Keshavadita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Keshavadita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Keshavadita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jayo Narasimha Dev Jayo Narasimha Dev Jayo Narasimha Dev Jayo Narasimha Dev Gadev Jayo Narasimha Dev Jayo Narasimha Dev Jayo Narasimha Dev Jayo Prahlad Maharaj Jayo Prahlad Maharaj 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Shri Lakshmi Narasimhadev Bhagwan ki jai, Shri Prahlad Maharaj ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Premanande, Hare Hare Bol. Okay, Hare Krishna devotees. So we'll conclude here. Thank you very much, all of you, for joining. We'll see you all next week.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Anaguti. Hare Krishna Mittal Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Atamaya Mataji.